Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to PBTV. I'm Stu, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So we are going to cover the Silverback TAC41 today, and I will start this with I am not in the slightest a sniper expert. I've played around with having a couple in the past, but I've never delved too far into the ins and outs and how to make them the sort of fabled platforms that they are. So mainly this video will be features and what we do exactly know about them. As for upgrades and internals and deep specs, I'm not the expert, unfortunately, but we will try and go into much detail as possible. So if you do have any questions, please drop them down below and we'll try and answer them as quickly as possible and make sure you do get the right information as quickly as you can. I'm going to try and keep it on screen as much as I can as well, because this is probably one of the biggest platforms that we've done. This thing is absolutely massive. First thing to note is the thread on the end underneath the little thread adapter is a 24 or an M24 thread, so you will need an adapter or the specific attachment to put stuff on the end of it, whether or not it's a trace unit or anything like that. Coming back, the whole upper receiver is here is a CNC'd aluminium, and in the box it does come fully assembled. You don't have to attach the receiver to the lower receiver to the upper, or the polymer to the upper. The only bit that is separate is the actual complete bolt system that's here, and there's a little pin underneath here that is inside the box under a little sticker, and it just locks it in place. The tools to do it are in the back here, but we'll come to that shortly. So coming back to the receiver, you do have M-lock sections all the way back along here. So these are M-locks, so you can attach accessories to it, and even on the bottom if you wanted to attach a rail or anything to put your bipod or anything on there. You've got M-lock on the left-hand side as well. What looks like a hex bolt there is actually a QD sling mount. So you have one on the right-hand side, one on the left, and matching at the back, you have one on the side and one on the back of the stock here as well. So you've got four QD sling points on this. Perfect for if someone comes into your minimum engagement distance and needs to swap to a sidearm or anything like that. Having a sling just makes that a little bit easier. I know a lot of people that run bolt actions and stuff like that just prefer to be prone and stationary. They don't usually bother with slings. They just place it on the ground and just draw the sidearm or what they've got as the secondary. For those that don't know, with bolt actions and everything like that, most sites have you're allowed a higher power limit, so you're allowed up to 500 FPS or 3.32 joules. But if someone comes within a certain distance, usually about 20 meters, you have to drop to something that's under 350 FPS, making it safe to play against things like this, because that is a hell of a lot of power coming out of these. Saying that, this isn't up there with them. Out the box, testing this just before, it was about 371 FPS on a 0.2. And we believe it's AEG springs inside this, so you should be able to swap them out and increase the power. But you do have a decent length barrel. I think it's 570 mil in a barrel on this, and it is an AEG 6.05 millimeter in a barrel. So barrels are quite easy to get hold of. You're not looking for any specific cut or anything slightly different, and it is AEG hot bookings as well. So there's an absolute plethora of choice out there when it comes to barrels, hop units, hop rubbers, and things like that. One of the things I do really like about this as well is where they've put the TDC. So normally there is a little hole here, and a lot of platforms in the past, the hop adjuster has been on the rail, sort of further back. So you mount an optic or a scope to this, and it either your clamp goes over it or you have to hide it and your scope's touching it. Your TDC is here. So if you've got an optic or anything like that, it'll go over it and you're still able to adjust your TDC and adjust your hop on the fly when it is needed, which is an absolute great feature. The magazine, another little quirky feature about it, it is an AK style mag release, and it does drop out. Very short, interesting looking magazine. There is 48 rounds in this, but we're going to call this 48 plus 20. So there's 48 rounds going this. When you click it in, you'll hear it and then 20 BBs will go down the loading tube. So what you could do, you could take the mag out, fill another 20 BBs in this, and then go for a lot longer. So that means when you put this in, you've got essentially 68 BBs of ammo in a magazine that is exceptionally short. A lot of people will then point out that that makes it very, very difficult to clear. And yes, you do have to be very careful. See if I can see it. If you see that little red button in the magwell, if you press that, it vents the feed tube. So when you do take it out, if you're going back to the safe zone or you need to clear your weapon, it's all totally doable. You're not stuck having to fire off 20 BBs. You press that little red button there, they will roll out, and then you're good to go. But just remember, when you do click it in, it's going to want to accept another 20 BBs. But it is nice and easy and very, very positive to click in. Coming back, another very, very good feature about this. I know a lot of left-handed bolt action players that have never been able to find a true ambidextrous platform, but this is. So the bolt does come in the box separately, and you've just got to mount and slide it in, because if it was all mounted and done and you're left-handed, you've got to strip it all apart. It's just one of them awkward things. The actual bolt itself can be swapped to be a left-handed pull. There's a sliding bar, there's a bolt, and there's a pin underneath. The instruction manual is exceptionally well written, pictorially, and all the tools and everything you need. It is very, very well put together and easy to read, meaning that you can put this together exactly how you want it if you're right or left-handed. So you can have the bolt on the right-hand side or the left, and you just swap the sliding bar and remove the pin. All the tools that you need to do it are actually in the stock. If you take this adjuster out here, so the actual cheek riser is done by the two bolts here. This bit here, if you undo this, this slides off. There's a waterproof gasket in here. Underneath that, you'll find an Allen key and a screw type tool that goes into your bolt lock pin, allows you to screw it in and either pull it out or lock it in place. Once that's in, you can pull that pin out. You can then hold the trigger and slide the whole bolt system out, and it comes out in a oneer. You can then adjust it to left-handed, slide it back in, but make sure the actual bar that's in here is on the other way around as well, because it's how it locks in place. Safety, very, very simple. Just slides back to be on, push forward with your thumb. So it's harder to put the safety on than it is to take it off, which is always a bonus. But if as you're in a firing position, you can just push it with your thumb, and it's very, very sort of ergonomic. Very, very straight down pistol grip, grip at the front there, making it very, very comfortable when you're in a prone position. But yeah, I mean, this thing in OD is really, really nice. The only reason why I've got the OD... Symbimis. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name on YouTube. Thanks for the great content, man. What's the range like on this thing? Unfortunately, range is just one of them questions that we cannot answer. It will probably be in our AQA when we end up doing it. Range is a very subjective and adjustable premise, because it all depends on what weight BB you're using, what FPS it's at, how much you've got your hop set. There's too many factors in place for us to give an accurate depiction of how far this thing's going to go. For example, we could get one out that's doing 370 FPS with no hop on and a 0.2, and it goes X distance. If we get another one out the box and it's doing 390, we apply some hop and we use a heavier BB, it's going to be a completely different figure. So we cannot give you a true and honest answer to range, unfortunately. The only sort of genuine digit that we can give you is how far it's firing through a chrono, because it's physically measured. Range just can't be done, unfortunately. So I've covered hop. The stock is adjustable, and back here, the actual stock itself, you get 3 10mm slithers that you can put into the stock here, meaning that you can extend it if you've got quite long arms or you just want to change the comfort of it. You can stick it in there. So for anyone that's just joining us, we will do another quick overview. So again, if I've missed a feature or anything like that, drop it down below, throw any questions, queries up, and I'll quickly go through everything again. As I said at the start, I'm not a sniper expert, so the deep dive into this is probably up for someone else, but I'll try and cover as many features as I can. 54 Dunk, mag or shell loading. So this is a magazine, very, very small, quirky magazine. So it is small, so this thing's going to fit in pistol mag pouches anywhere really, really small, and there's 48 BBs just in the mag. But saying that, there's 48 BBs in there. As soon as you click it in, it's going to take 20 of them and put them down the loading tube. There's a little red button in there. You can just see it now. That little red button is how you vent your loading tube if you're going into a safe zone or you want to make the weapon clear. So what I do is go into the game, click it in, take the 20 in, take the mag out, reload it. So you've got a full 48 in that and 20 in here. It just means you've got an absolute massive amount of ammo. You don't have 68 rounds. Yes, there will be 68 in here, but it needs the 20 in there to feed that last one. So you're probably still only going to get 48 shots. Are they in stock now? Yes, they're in stock. They're currently not on the website because these landed with us about an hour ago. So we are rapidly trying to get these sorted. I am not in tomorrow, so I am going to try and get these on the website within the next hour. We have OD ones, we've got grey ones, we've got black ones, and we've got tan ones. I think we have more of the OD than anything else, so you're after one of the other colours, you're going to have to be Johnny on the spot. So those that have just joined us, it does have a threaded front end, but it is an M24 style thread, so you will need an adapter for anything like that. It has 4 QD points on it for slings, 2 at the front here, 1 there and 1 on the left-hand side, 1 at the back, and again 1 on the left-hand side, matching it. You do have M-lock across the right-hand side, 2 M-lock pieces on the bottom, and a matching bit of M-lock on the left-hand side, so you've got loads of M-lock spots. The hop adjustment is here in a very, very cool and ingenious spot, rather than it being on the rail underneath your optic, that when you mount an optic on this, it's not going to block the TDC. So normally they're under here, you put an optic on it and you're stuck, whereas this, you are still going to be able to adjust it. It is on a little bit of a ratchet and a detent, so it feels really, really positive, really, really nice. And inside there, you will find AEG style hot buckings on an AEG cut barrel. So it is 510mm length and a 6.05 AEG barrel. So anyone out there that knows teching side of stuff, there's probably more AEG barrels out there. They're easier to find. They're probably a little bit cheaper. So it's just a little bit easier. There may be other barrels out there that are specific built for bolt actions that are better. It's just for certain builds, they're just easier to come by. So you do have a big chunk of Riz here, and the one thing I did miss talking about the Riz is it is quite high. So guys that are running lower face, especially people that fully ghillie up and they want to wear the lower face with the leaf suits and the goggles and everything like that on, with this being so high, you're going to find it a lot easier to come down onto a really, really good sight picture, whether or not you're using full optics or just a 4x or anything like that. I'd highly recommend anything from like a sort of 2 to a 10 with this. You're not going to be able to take targets out using the 10x, but purely with this, you're going to be a sort of stationary, sort of mobile platform at times. You want to be able to scout out to a much bigger, higher detailed distance, so I would creep up to that sort of higher magnification. This thing's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to be able to stay out in the field for a long, long time with the amount of ammo that you're going to be able to carry in it, just in the mag that's included. The bolt itself is fully ambidextrous. All the controls on this are either centralized or swappable to right or left-handed. So the safety is centralized, the mag release is centralized. The actual bolt itself is currently in the right-hand configuration. You can strip it apart and swap it to left-handed, no problem. All the tools are included inside the stock. With the tools inside the stock, there is a waterproof gasket inside here, so if it does start raining or it does get wet, there is a rubber seal in here that protects them. They're not going to corrode, they're not going to waste away. It's just a little bit of an added feature that I don't think it was deliberate, but it's just one thing that we picked up on. As I was saying, the mag release, very much like an AK style, you push it forward and it drops out. You do have that massive capacity 48 round mag, but it does need to fill that 20 round feed tube. As I was saying with the safety, clicks back, and then when you're in a fire position, you can just push it forward with your thumb. And again, I was saying with this out the box, this is only sitting at about 360, 370 FPS. So for those guys that are wanting to get into sniping, it's not up there with the max power, but from some people that know what they were talking about, that I spoke on the phone earlier, these things are capable of it, but it will take some work. But looks-wise, I mean, these things are really, really nice. They've got this fibre reinforced polymer lower and the 6000 CNC'd upper that is... It does feel really nice. The bolt pulls incredibly smooth. I mean, it is only doing 360, 370, so once that goes up to almost the 500 FPS, it might get a little bit stiffer, might get a little bit harder to get them clean pulls. We don't know. We haven't tested it yet, unfortunately. As I was saying, you do get some buttstock adjustment here. I think there's 3 slivers in the box that you can add to this. Each one is 10mm, so you can make this a lot bigger, and you can adjust the cheek riser with the 2 bolts that are on the top. But if that's everything, this has been the TAC41. I know it's been quick. Again, I am not a sniper expert in the slightest. It's just the features that we know, that we've read about. Once these have been tested fully, they will be on the website ASAP, and there will be a full description trying to describe as much as possible, and hopefully you can get your hands on them and hopefully get them before your next game day. But if that's everything, I will be back again on Monday. We will probably do a pre-record, so we won't be live tomorrow, but we will still try and get a video up for you, so please still join us. Until then, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.